first hymn, where it says, "We will raise him up 4 times," you must sing that 3 times. Count it on your tentacles 3 times, not 4, or it won't fit the melody. The other note we have for you, you pronounce pronunciations. Cthulhu lives in Rilya. Dagon lives in Yaneth Play. Of course, these words were never designed for human speech organs, so we're just approximating. But in order to make the meter work, that's how we pronounce it. Okay.
Do they have actual singers?
What?
Do they have actual singers?
Not a professional singer. You have
Volunteer professional singers?
not professional, unprofessional singers.
You want this or not?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Amabulnag, Oamabulyev, Tak Sirosur, Tak Sirosur. O masters of the black fires concealed, rise o'er the flights of dim mortals sleeping. Nug and Yeb, great dragons black and red, come prepare thy father's table. O bringers of the end of man's allotted time, extend thy ill frost that here and beyond might be cleansed. Nug and Yeb, great dragons black and red, come prepare thy father's table. O first issue of she who is to come, bearing 1,000 young, now lost to thy stillness of discomfort, spark thy doom engines black and red. Nug and Yeb, great dragons black and red, come prepare thy father's table. O great hammers of the scouring, arrive with thy black fires wild, clearing all spaces for the terrible masters outside deprived. Nug and Yeb, great dragons black and red, come prepare thy father's table. O angels fuller than thunder, whose concordant verdict crashes as a wave, the frail earth lays ripe for thy age of starry fire. Nug and Yeb, great dragons black and red, come prepare thy father's table. O shadowy Nug, uncover thy cauldron black torch at Pole North, that the divine punishment may be born in all glory. Nug and Yeb, great dragons black and red, come prepare thy father's table. O servant of Aboth, Yeb of the whispering mists, spring forth burning thy round furnace red inhumed in Pole South. Nug and Yeb, great dragons black and red, come prepare thy father's table. O twin spawn of Yog-Sothoth, in thy nightmarish bound, strike with thy noisome black essence overbrimming. Nug and Yeb, great dragons black and red, come prepare thy father's table. O both sides of the one, the charts divined at seed, the heavenly facets shining, are set in the strict aspect foreordained. Nug and Yeb, great dragons black and red, come prepare thy father's table. O dreadful gods, in thy cold sepulchres deep amongst the black maze of stars, heed this appeal, made with arms spread wide in thy accolades wanting, and arise! Nug and Yeb, great dragons black and red, come prepare thy father's table. Amabul-Ehib, Ol Amabul-Kahi, Amabul-Nug, Ol Amabul-Yeb, Ndir Yakudea, Tichir, Ukte-Mul, Tatak Kaskirosur, Amabul-Nug, Ol Amabul-Yeb. This blessing was authored by and intoned for Joe Pulver. Ave, dreaming beast. Open ye not that golden door. Carcosa of dark splendor needs you, but we need you more. Thank you.
Yay! Cthulhu.
Brothers, sisters, fingerlings, it is a sweet balm to my rugose soul to see you here before you again this morning, for I must confess my heart has been assailed by doubt. For in these troubled times, the best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. And most of those who go around reposting that quote think it was coined by Sheldon on Big Bang Theory. This raging plague of willful ignorance has impacted me as much as anyone else. So badly has it gotten that I've had to shave off my beard to stop people mistaking me for Vermin Supreme and throwing galoshes at me in the street. I don't have your pony. But I have looked into my heart and listened to what the worms that live there have told me, and I urge you to stop taking antibiotics and accept their message. What if we're wrong? I realize it's a last message people think they need to hear at a prayer breakfast intended to rekindle our faith. But I watched a lot of evangelical programming while composing this sermon this morning and resolved to do the opposite of what they were doing, and I believe the question must be asked. What if we're wrong? Faith can indeed move mountains, but its track record with regard to removing stubborn facts is a lot more spotty. Rather than enabling followers to live contentedly in the world their God created, it leads many to covering up irksome lady bits on furniture, Facebook, and also ladies. Disregarding troublesome science and burning troublesome scientists at the stake, and willfully ignoring inevitable signs that you're wrong, or even that you're right. The most satisfying proof that an anthropomorphic deity created humanity in its image is the preponderance of cranky incels with incoherent manifestos. But you don't see a whole lot of school shooters nominated for sainthood. When faith itself becomes an absolute, it's not just blinding, it's toxic. Faith in defiance of facts is eating your nose to spite your face. Your delicious, delicious nose. I'm not trying to destroy our faith, but no religion worth our devotion can help be reinforced by a stiff dose of doubt. Though the signs that our much maligned beliefs are a true interpretation of the mysterious workings of the universe pile higher every day, we must never stop interrogating our faith, lest it become as blind as any other religion and start remaking the physical universe in accordance with our own unexamined assumptions about it. I worry that our blind faith will bring about a false apocalypse, that will visualize ourselves into oblivion the way Marianne Williamson visualizes away our national debt. I worry that the mass of plastic twice the size of Texas is an ersatz relief that will eclipse the true one. That the unseen planet beyond Pluto is our next president. That our fanaticism will give birth to new gods who make the old ones look like the Care Bears. Just as surely as you know that when a white person north of the Mason-Dixon line addresses you as y'all, they're about to make a sweeping generalization. Or when said person says they're channeling their inner spirit animal as if they contain an Indian burial ground and not half a jar of Miracle Whip and a take-home box of stale Olive Garden breadsticks. Y'all need some skepticism. Say it with me. What if we're wrong?
What if we're wrong?
Not just about our cult, but about everything. What if the pyramid is simply the most logical way to construct a dwelling, but ancient aliens sabotage the evolution of Europeans by imposing on them a compulsion to erect and dwell in ugly rectangular boxes and force everyone else to do likewise? What if the increased profile of Halloween is actually a plot to drain it of its vitality? What could be less genuinely scary than an annual day when everyone goes to the same store to buy the same costume and knock on the same doors to beg for the same crap? If Halloween is supposed to be scary, it should fall on a randomly selected secret day of every year. With costumes assigned by a government-approved haruspex and delivered by courier to your home or office, and a failure to secure a pillowcase full of candy as an offering causes the costume to become your permanent likeness. Now that's a holiday with some chest hair on it. What if we always were the evil mirror universe we've been fearing all along? What if the cliche of gods demanding only virgin sacrifices is a big misinterpretation, and the distinction is closer to that of olive oil, where the virginity comes from the process of squeezing the juice out of them? And what if we're not actually devolving into a superior amphibian race to dwell forever beneath the waves, but just going bald? I'm just saying, I don't often see deep ones with as much ear hair as I'm seeing out of this room. A wise bumper sticker prophet once said, if you're living like there's no Jesus, you better be right. And yet, in the face of overwhelming proof that all gospels are a bubble and squeak hodgepodge of outmoded social controls and wildly exaggerated accounts of the career of a Galilean wedding magician, many people of faith strive to be better, kinder humans because of the imaginary angels on their shoulders. And while our faith has exacted much harsher sacrifices, even if we're wrong, it has graced us with a respect for all life, not just the kind that can recognize itself in a mirror and keep a decent credit rating. An understanding that the world is not a pie-eating contest, not a sentence with a bloody period, but an endless tone poem of catastrophe, transformation, and renewal. The trials and tribulations of a living thing struggling towards sentience with every discovery, every revelation, every fumbling attempt at true gnosis. Even if we're wrong, we will have lived more deliciously than those who must undergo increasingly humiliating contortions to always feel that they're right. If faith can move mountains, skepticism can allow one to see them for the molehills they truly are, and let one start building not mountains but towers that would give Nimrod battle envy. Until then, let us dare to believe in a world where incels are eaten by their own fedoras. Yes! Where stochastic terrorists who deny women the control over their own bodies get a Beltane booty call from Yogg-Sothoth. And so, having shaken your faith, we'd like to reaffirm what we do believe in. Each of your ordained ministers will here before you will endeavor to bear witness to the supremacy of their accepted deity in the antediluvian and accepted medium of the Eldritch Rap Battle.
Got it, Doc.
Rap battle is this?
I'm the greatest of one, first among equals, like a nightmare on Elm Street and all late sequels. The incarnation of existential dread that can ruin your day without getting out of bed. Premonition to life with no end in sight. We keep the carnage coming till the broad daylight. With my worldwide cult and my Bucky Star spawn, we be getting it on a Necronomicon. Got a devious scheme for all humanity. We're making sushi out of your sanity. Got you foaming at the mouth like Cthulhu with rays. Tickling your gills and putting scales on your babies. You can pray and plan and even smoke a whole ounce, but your mind is mine if you mispronounce. It's Cthulhu. It's not Cthulhu. Don't let my extra consonants fool you. Say ya. Say ya. I got the whole wide world in my squamous paw. Ain't nobody afraid to know Jacob or May. But when revelation comes, Cthulhu gets paid.
Yo, my name is Dagon. Kiss my ring, because I'm the one true king of this undersea thing. I'm not stuck in my crib like some old ones I can mention, but I'm keeping it real so I command your attention. I'm the Piscean pimp of the Philistines. Disinfecting heretics like Listerine. I ain't sending dick pics from the fathomless deep. I get up on your grill, cause you know I never sleep. I never get impaled on a fish and smack. Ain't no Elvis sign in my zodiac. I never call collect, I'm always coming correct. So if you see me in the sea, sacrificing respect, with my amorphous boo and our name was Brood, we'll be checking your rational attitude. So hail Hydra, hail Hydra, inner tentacles up inside ya. Cause all the fresh streaks and the cultist creeps know the daggone sage while Cthulhu sleeps. Sleeping on it, yo.
How about a bell? Throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care for Cthulhu. Shiver like a mad maniac for Dagon.
Yo, I got respect for Cthulhu Dagon, but I represent the black belt 1,000 young. Chip nigger, chip the cigarette, for your sad ass brothers let slip pull up. You need last rites, ask Father Sanusi, cause she's devouring worlds with her cosmic Gucci. Baby, 11,000 babies, make you eat you like sushi. Sashimi, conceive, gonna need. Elder signs when you're messing with she. And your bohemian semen, I got a rhapsody about the queen, indeed. She brings the fire, desire, inspiring teenagers, queen agents. Needs and tears, did the demons. Okay, I just messed that up. Brings the fire, desire, inspiring regions of teenagers dressed like Sabrina, conjuring demons and screaming hexes and thieves. Gonna go, oh yes, man, my rope. Gonna keep your little island afloat. You know, no one's really scared of your nautical notes, so just step off and mess with the goat. Jump in the rock. Jump up the zing rock. Jump in the rock. Jump up the zing rock.
Unashamed molest.
More.
Where do we turn into a prayer book?
That makes one of us.
We have technical issues. Someone doesn't have the musical file.
I'm sure there's more than a few of us.
How do you like it so far, man?
Very interesting.
It's a different aspect of your prayer breakfast you don't normally go to.
I like the title.
Uh-oh.
Good morning, Necronomicon. I'm Scott R. Jones of Keeping It Brilliant Ministries, coming to you from Threshold 616 on the west coast, best coast of this fine, dark, old continent. What we'd like to do at Threshold 616, and we did this last year, the last time at Necronomicon, is of course we do a little bit of a incantation in which obviously not all of us have brought our copies of the Necronomicon, myself included. That's kept in the secret vault. But we can lift our astral copies in the air, so I'll ask you to do that with me, brothers and sisters. Lift our astral copies in the air, in the air, and say after me, "This is my Necronomicon. I am what it says I am. I can do what it says I can do. And I will be what it says I will be. I am witness to its wonder and glory in my life. By Dagon's teeth and the black gnosis I seek. Fatagan. That was wonderful, thank you. I will let the 17 members of Threshold 616 know how well you did today. You know, I'm very glad that Brother Goodfellow here has touched on the subject of doubt, because I find it to be a very contagious, viral thing in our species, and it certainly is something that's affected us in Victoria. We recently had one of our brothers, Todd. Todd had completed a number of our degrees, which I won't go into here, but he had put in a lot of work, and we were preparing him for a small rite that we call the long dive.
Oh no.
And as the concrete was setting around his feet, Todd expressed to me that he was experiencing some doubt at this juncture. Of course, I think, he basically self-selected himself, and we were very happy to be assisting him with his long dive, but I think some of the datura we got was off. My supplier, I'll need to speak to him. Right, excellent. All right, we'll talk after the service. So I spoke with him and tried to allay some of his doubts. But then I found that, I was having my own doubts. I was having doubts about my father, and he doesn't have that. My relationship with my dad. I was having doubts about my imposter syndrome. I'm also a writer, as pretty much most people here are. I was having doubts about how my debut collection coming out from Trepidation Publishing the first week of December, just in time for Christmas pre-ordering. It's called Shout, Kill, Revel, Repeat. How that was going to do, I had no idea. This was all blue sky territory. But then I think, doubt is, they said, Frank Herbert told us that fear was the mind killer, but I really think doubt is the mind killer. Fear, at least you know what you're dealing with. It's pure. Doubt is multifarious and multiform. And, it's something that I know is affecting us all. Individual there in the back, right over there, she's wondering if he's going to call. She left him all of her contact information, but he's pretty much ghosted on Facebook. What will happen there? And I'm detecting some doubt about your commitment to sparkle motion. Am I not, sir?
What's sparkle motion?
It just shines in your aura. Quite a thing. And I don't know, what else am I detecting here? There's something about 45. You, sir, with the beard. He's not going to answer your tweet. At least until you have the secret activation code sent by the Johannathle elders in the dream sending of October 30th last year. No? Aha! See me after the service. No, doubt, though, is the royal road to potential. doubt opens our mind and our hearts to what could be. It's not an obstacle. It can be seen as a key to the realm where things were, are, and will be. Or, as we also know it, the realm of the great old ones, where they walk undimensioned and unseen, serene and primal. And it's that serenity I want to leave you with today, brothers and sisters. We need to allow doubt to not be a hindrance, but to be a guide. We need to enter into doubt fully so that we press through to the other side of it. I'm not talking about faith. Faith is, according to another somewhat holy book, the assured expectation of things heard but unseen. And you're hearing all of us today, but it is literally all hearsay. You need to push through the doubt, push through even the idea of faith, and get to the realities that are behind. It is not faith. It is, however, keeping it real, as we like to say. Where, in keeping it real, we take personal responsibility for placing stone upon stone upon stone in our hearts, so that we may raise Brillia here and here. And this is how we affect the world. This is how it has always been done. So, as for Todd, Todd took his long dive, finally, over the side of the boat. And there was a brief moment of screaming before the waters closed over his head, but I like to think that he got his reward. Brothers and sisters, thank you today. Raise your Necronomicons again. This is my Necronomicon. I am what it says I am. I can do what it says I can do. I will be what it says I will be. I am witness to its wonder and glory in my life. By Dagon's teeth and by the black noses I seek. Fatah. Thank you very much. Keep on keeping it real.
Take two. There we are. Thank you so much.
you one and all. Thank you and welcome once again, fellow travelers upon the path of eternal cosmic night, to this glorious convocation of eldritch prayer and sumptuous devourment. Here at a horrific cosmic rift in the dimensional pathways between various sundry and unsundry nebulae that the quirky yet shambling locals have adorably named Providence. I am from this fine city, not West Coast, Best Coast, but East Coast, Beast Coast. Excuse me. And now, after what I'm sure have been days, if not months, you can all finally relax and enjoy what I know you've all been waiting for with bated respirations. More middle-aged white dudes telling you our opinions about things. Yes, I know. It's very, very special. So And as a humble priest of Shubnigaroth, the black goat with 1,000 young, mother of abominations and savior to all who seek her dread caress, my duties and responsibilities, of course, still lie with my goddess, my initiates, and my coven steads. The big difference for us now, of course, is that witchcraft has become trendy yet again. So we of the Order of Shubnigaroth, as well as our many suborders, such as the Sorority of Eldritch Knight, the Patuxet Star Wolves, and the Blood Nuns of Exham Priory, have had a massive influx of new recruits, all ranging in magical talent from the somewhat promising to the soon-to-be exiting the wrong end of a Chthonian variety. I mean, hell, we haven't had this many angsty teens with attention deficits and cut-up t-shirts running around our coven stead since the mid-90s, way back when Firuza Balk first flared her big, beautiful nostrils at the old Manon in the sea. In fact, the myriad similarities of the current era to that of the 90s may engender certain star vampires placed into torpor during the time period to be rather confused about a couple of decades of blissful slumber, though they'll snap out of it quickly enough the moment they notice the droves of weird flat pagers with screens everyone appears to be staring at, and the curious lack of safety pins and Chumbawamba. Ah, safety pins. That shit was like goth gold back in the day. But, like most things 90s, some initiates will succeed and prosper, some will age horrifically and seem utterly mad when approached, and the rest will quickly perish, only to be resurrected decades later when their superiors are bored and trying to make an extra buck on something. But for now, movies and series such as The Vavitch, Sabrina, Hereditary, and Midsummer, or as I like to call that last one, Children of the Bjorn, are really doing the bulk of our recruitment work for us, it seems. But it's not just our cults flourishing, you see. Subterranean catacombs and forgotten temples from Arkham, Dunwich, Blockula, Benevento, Lang, and Carcosa have all been reporting record numbers of cultists as well. I mean, the Innsmouth Film Outreach Society even went out and won an Oscar for Azeroth's sake, with their Shape of Water. Or as we down in the Covenstead prefer to call it, Grinding Nemo. Where, much like Reverend Cody, a talented young Innsmouth orphan learns about the eternal pull of fish booty. Even the great Sam Gafford, the finest hierophant of Lord Nodens the Abyssal Realms have ever seen, was forced to shapeshift into his gloriously terrifying amphibious form and return to his oceanic homeland in order to deal with recruitment lines winding around the Marianas Trench. We hope to see him again in a century or two, of course, after his honorable and prodigious work there is finished. But though much has indeed changed since we last gathered a mere 2 solar rotations of the spinning blue orb ago, much has certainly stayed the same. Global corporations still act like the idiot bad guys from Naked Gun 2.5. The U.S. still appears to have a really nasty case of orange gonorrhea, and Stevie Nicks still bleats her paeans of unholy vibrato in honor of our great goat mother of the stars. In between awkward cameos on American Horror Story, of course. Last prayer breakfast, friends, I entreated you to ravage and discard the notion of purity in all of its vile ridiculousness. Purity, which attempts to find an inherent cleanliness within a life utterly saturated with dust, pathogens, esophageal microorganisms, consumption of decaying matter, and excrementation, no less. And though that noxious little bogey is, of course, far from squashed, I wish to draw your attention to a different hobgoblin of the mind, one just as insipid and simultaneously alluring, if not more so. This morning, I wish you to banish simplicity. Yes, simplicity, that enchanting little notion that the trillions upon trillions of variation in an omniverse as monstrously vast and mind-shreddingly expansive as ours might be happily encapsulated into a series of adorable quotes on a refrigerator magnet or an uncle's moronic t-shirt. Simplicity, the mind's tendency to pare down the multitude of electric impulses, gaseous currents, gravitational forces, and permutations of consciousness to just a vibe, man. Simplicity, the vibe and purposeful obfuscation of the cumulative interplay between planetary and biological systems from the quantum level all the way up to quasars the size of galaxies, vomiting light into the abominable void as the quaint magic trick of some buff-bearded sky fairy. Simplicity, the dreaded notion that any colony of myriad and multifaceted beings such as starspawn, Migos, elder things, Shoggoths, or even we, mongrelized Tellurian primates, should have something as preposterous as an official skin color or linguistic pattern. Simplicity, the concept that eternities of swirling dimensional chaos can be properly described and encapsulated into a series of ink splotches upon soft pieces of dead topiary that one can fit in the palm of their hand. No offense, of course. Simplicity is extra pernicious, you see, for he is the father of purity, idiocy, ignorance, and many other things best avoided by any organism that actually cares for its own power and prosperity. Simplicity attempts to place into ordered little boxes the spectacular multiplicity of the cosmos, and we are all the worse for it. Thus I say, strike and shatter all boxes and fetters of the mind which encourage such vile simplicity. Stamp and stop with cloven hooves. Stamp and stomp with cloven hooves upon its laughable misconceptions and misapprehensions. Grind its bones into a fine dust, and fire it and feed it into the mouths of the Shoggoths of experience. For wisdom and madness ride the same night gaunt, my friends. Thus we pray. Praise be to thee, Yog-Sothoth, Azathoth, Nyarlathotep, Abhoth, the mightiest of gates shatter at thy will. Praise be to thee, Yig-Shu-Nigurat, Tulska, Ubosatla, the jewels of the stars are thine to command. Praise be to thee, Hastur, Cthulhu, Dagon, Shognar, Fogan, untold generations have knelt to thy might. Praise be to thee, Igolonak, Cthulhu, Shudimel, Sathagawa, for thy kingdoms shall return. Thank you all.
This concludes the On Purpose portion of our program. Those of you who are recently converted or just swept in off the street, I offer you this blessing. By the beard of Biatus and the nipples of Yiptistel, I adjure thee to go forth and sin some more. From the vaults of Neblon Zin to the Innsmouth charity clothing bin, may ye find all that ye seeketh. May ye put down all that ye calleth up.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Go in peace or in pieces.
I want to thank all of you for coming out. Please give it up for Brother Scott R. Jones.